not sure I understand completely.
In the sense of, so we 16, you're in and out of juvenile when you're a youngster, and then after that, and then what's happening? I mean, I know, you mentioned that when your parents married and they had the two your sisters, right? But then you were rebellious, and in your teenage years you were rebellious, right? But then what happens after your teenage years? And that is when, if I'm in my head quickly doing the maths correctly, that is when your sisters now are also becoming teenagers, and at that period where you are saying you wanted to step in as a brother to say, hey, you know, because they're coming of age in terms of them now maturing and stuff, and you're not around at that stage. So I'm asking, so what's happening in your life then at that time that you're not around? Am I making sense?
Living in vanity.
What does that mean?
Whether it is 1,000, 2,000 that they gave means absolutely nothing. But if they just had 2 million, just a minute all the time, just to hear what it is you have to say. I can not only just change somebody's life, you never know, might just save somebody's life. Because a lot of us lack that, somebody to listen to us, understand us, or at least try to understand us. As long as I can. Yeah, from a young age, you know, I've never been someone that can sit still too long, and even in school, one of my biggest problems that I had was I had ADHD.
Okay.
So my attention span wasn't really as on the same level as others. I would be able to focus like for 20 minutes and then my brain will just wander off somewhere.
And do you remember where you would go off to?
Most probably somewhere other than where I was sitting at that point in time.
Sure.
So if I was sitting in class, it will be most probably walking, what's people doing outside, and I wonder who's on the soccer field, or things like that.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, the teachers, did they ever pick it up, or were your parents aware that you've got ADHD, or you've got AMIA?
It was picked up later in my life, and yeah, with that came medications and.
But while you were at school, or when was it picked up?
I think it started to pick up when my behavior started getting worse, and yeah, instead of holding on, biting on my teeth for lecture to be over and done with, in the middle of a lecture, I'll take my bag and just walk out to the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that, and getting into trouble at school, getting into fights, and yeah, I think that's when it was more or less picked up.
Right.
got put on medication that was supposed to like calm me down, and that's. But the medication, me personally, there was times I felt like it made me almost like a zombie. When I was here, but I was like,
Right.
yeah, zonked out of my brain and that. And there was times that I felt as if it didn't. What am I taking this medication for? And yeah, I guess basically, I can't say that I completely grew out of it, because yeah, I still can't sit still for too long and that.
Mm-hmm.
And but as time went on, I managed to how do I put this? Not really work on it, but I started to get sort of better, where at first I couldn't sit still for 20 minutes straight. Now I find myself sitting sometimes at church, for instance. I go to church on a Sunday. So if I can sit from 9:30 to 11:30 and not walk out of the service or whatever, so
Nice, man.
yeah.
And anything change? I mean, what I'm interested. Did anything change in your life in terms of moving from that person who couldn't sit for 20 minutes to now sitting for nearly 2 hours?
It's, well, me personally, my diagnosis is that I probably grew out of it.
Right. So you don't take any medication now, nothing?
No.
Right, nice.
It's the same like I was born with asthma.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, I used to be on pumps and tablets and all of that. Today, I can't remember what year last I used an asthma pump.
Nice.
Because it's something I grew out of.
Right, right. Let's go back to growing up as a youngster. So, parents were around, both mom and dad?
My mom, yeah. Mom was there. Dad, yeah, Dad's a bit of a touchy subject. Because like aunts and uncles from Dad's side, the relationship with him is some of the best memories that I have. But with Dad in specific, I think that I can't blame him for decisions and choices that I made in my past, even in my present, but I think it's safe to say that his absence is a major role player, because it's because of his absence that, like today, you can say, in a way, like a ticking time bomb. Whereas I've got a lot of anger issues, trust issues, lots of hurt, disappointment, regrets, resentment, hatred, and I don't know what other words there is to describe what it is that I feel when the dead topic comes up. Because for a big part of my life, when I was younger, my mother, I won't say directly, but sort of kind of indirectly, she tried to keep me away. Not for any reason, but because she knew for and what the outcome is going to be. And you know, as you get older, you know, I want to know who my father is, I want to see my father, and I got to that stage and that point in my life where I was at that certain age where she couldn't deny me that. And today, if I look at it, I can't say that it would have been better or what would have been much of a better difference, but maybe I should have just played it out with her rules and avoid wanting to have contact with him, and because having contact with him is the same as the times that I didn't have any contact with him. There's not a lot of happy memories that I have in the sense of father and son bonding time and things that father and son does where my biological father is concerned. Yeah.
So what would happen when you're spending time with him?
A normal conversation like you and I are having now, it would start off like this and then to end up in a whole argument, or it will just end off negative. And with him being the black sheep in his family and that, and me being the black sheep in my family and that, yeah, I can't say that he was much of an example for me. Because I can't, if I look at it, and I think deep down that I don't recall any positive lesson or catchphrase or something that he installed in my life that up until today that I can still use in it, because by the way his sisters, and that is concerned, my aunts, my cousins, meeting them is one thing I don't regret. Actually, that's the only thing that I'm thankful for, was meeting them, and because they made me feel like I'm part of the family.
I mean, you expressed quite some strong emotions, anger, towards him. And I'm fortunate that I don't come from a single parent household, so my dad was around and stuff. But I've got friends who come from a single parent household, who were raised by their mothers or their grandmothers. And as much as the father was not around, but then when I chat to them, and I understand that relationships are different, I can't paint you with the same brush as them. But in terms of those emotions you expressed earlier on, he must have done something quite hectic to you to be able to express that type of anger and resentment towards him, with all those sort of adjectives you used.
He was never there when I needed him. I didn't have a father that taught me how to shave and things that fathers do with their sons, and that I had to learn from my cousins and my friends. When I got bullied at school, I couldn't say, could tell my father, and when I was playing sport and that, I didn't have a father that came to come watch me in my sports days and that. Hence the reason I say that I'm grateful to my aunts and my cousins, because they tried their best to fill that void, but it will never be the same. Then on the other hand, growing up in the beginning, it was just me and my mom. And at that point in time, my mom was working. So every day I would get dropped off at grandmas and grandpas, and they became like my mother and my father. And when my mom eventually, my mother and my biological father were never married, and then she met somebody, and they got married. But at that time I was still young and ignorant, and in my mind, I'm the man of the house, I'm the father, I'm my mother's husband, I'm my mother's child, I I'm the main in the house. And here comes this guy, and I mean, a young guy like me, I just went on like a defense mode. This guy is trying to take my mom away, and started rebelling, and not really giving him a chance to allow him to do what it is that he was trying, so that I could see what it is. Because my whole thing, I don't even know this guy. This guy wants to come talk to me like he's my father, and that treat me almost like I'm his child, and that, and get into trouble at school. He's the one that's giving me a spanking. I'm like, yo, dude, like, who do you think you are? And started heavy rebelling, and
How old are you now at this age when you're rebelling and when you're going through this phase?
that was like, the rebellion started like from 8, 9,
Okay.
if not younger. And basically I never gave him that 5 yards. But being older and a little bit wiser than what I was that time, I realize now that all he was actually trying to do was to be the father that I never had. But because of all these years not having a father, I couldn't tell, like, okay, this dude is trying to be a father to me, because I never had a father, so I wouldn't know what it was.
Sure.
And when my grandma and my grandpa passed on, and I think that's when everything just started going downhill for me.
And you still, how old are you now? Are you still in your early 9, 10, 11, or
Yeah,
things started going downhill?
this is like all before I hit the age of 13.
Okay.
My starting like rebelling on a heavy note, and even though, what they say, he's still young, he doesn't really know right from wrong. Even at the point in time where I was quite clued up where what is right and what is wrong, I would just do everything in my power to do the opposite of what I was supposed to be doing. And not really thinking about the consequences and the aftermath of my actions. Just thinking about myself and not really taking into consideration what it's doing, like, to my mother and to the friends and family that I did have around me.
But I mean, Cheslyn, you should cut yourself some slack, man, because you were only 10, 11. You weren't even a teenager. You know, I mean, you are reacting, I think, as any normal child at that age would react to a situation that he or she is around, don't you think? I hear what you're saying in terms of the hurt you caused, but you were also a child who was in a an environment that was just like boxing you in, and don't you think?
It could be safe to say so, but if you look at it, irrespective, despite the fact that my father wasn't there, I still had a good upbringing and Christian parents that tried their best to give me everything that they possibly could at the time and give me a normal upbringing. And so, yeah, I know that I might be a little bit too hard on myself, but it's just that, like, one of my biggest issues that I have is I find it easy to forgive others, but forgiving myself is something that I struggle with a lot. Because, like, I don't live with my mom and them. So, if I think about them, my mind always tends to drift to the hurt and the pain and the tears that are caused, the disappointment, and that is something that eats on me. Because if I could go back in time and undo, especially when my mother is concerned, like they say, you don't know what you have until you lose it. I'm fortunate enough that my mother's still alive, but not being there. And I'm my only son, I'm the only boy. I got 2 sisters, and I'm the eldest as well. So, not being there for my sisters, not being the role model, the puta, the big brother that I'm supposed to be, and I mean, this is the part, the age where I'm supposed to be now looking after my mother and them.
Right.
I'm supposed to be worrying about them, not them worrying about me. And I know that every night, there's not a night that goes by that my mother doesn't think or worry, am I right? Did I eat? Am I dry? Do I have, am I okay? Where am I? Am I in prison again? Or, and it's all things that it's almost like a fungus. It's eating. And sometimes it gets so bad that I tend not to want to look in the mirror, because knowing the person that my mother brought up and seeing the person staring back at me in the mirror, it's not the same person. And that's another disappointment. Yeah.
What is that person that your mom brought up to the one who's different now?
Well, if I look at the morals and values that my mother instilled into me, or tried to instill in me, it wasn't designed for someone in my position right now. I mean, the morals and values that she instilled was work hard, make something of your life, stay on your knees, and just succeed in life. Because I'm sure, I know for a fact this is not what she wanted for me. I've been in and out of prison so many times, so I can't count on my two hands how much times I've been to prison. Eventually it got so bad that I became a prison number, and just living a life of total destruction.
And when did that start?
I can't recall exactly when it started, but yeah, from that young age that I started rebelling, it just escalated and escalated and escalated. From doing childish naughty things to it escalating over time to where I'm now being incarcerated and being now, instead of appearing in front of mommy and daddy if I'm naughty, now I'm appearing before magistrate and judge and all of that.
I'm still a juvenile at the stage.
It was from juvenile until...
Like from what age? I'm just trying to understand.
I can't say exact, but for as long as I can remember, it's from the time that I was old enough to stand in front of a court, and that's what I've been doing. Rehab in, rehab out, prison in, prison out. Every time try to pull my life together, and yeah, it's for a short time, and I just end up blowing it all again. And then I would get like a job, and everything will be going okay for a certain time, and then end up something small will like trigger me and just like screw everything. When I have a good thing going for me, I always knowingly, sometimes unknowingly, I just blow it. And the saddest part about it is that I can't point a finger to anyone besides myself. Because irrespective of what contributing factor, nobody held a gun to my head. Nobody forced me to make decisions and choices that I made. That was all me.
Like, give me an example. What would you do if in this job and you're working nicely, and then what would happen?
Like, for instance, I was working at Total Sport in waterfront merchandising. And the pay was alright and everything. I don't know, I just end up blowing it, end up stealing from the merchandise and that. And everything for what? To support my drug habit. And even though, if I look at it now, I can kick myself because more than half of the things that I did was completely unnecessary. And I can't also blame the drug because, once again, nobody forced me to pick it up and smoke it.
When did you start that? And what were you smoking?
Drugs, I think I started, just before I hit my teens, like 12, around about there. And my first drug that I used was heroin. One thing I can proudly say is that today I'm like, from the age of 12, I stopped using heroin at the age of 15. So from 15, I'm 32 now. That's how long I've been clean of heroin. And that is like one of the hardest drugs to get off. People die trying to get off it.
Fantastic. How did you manage to, for such a short period of time, and be able to get off?
I went to prison.
Rehab.
Yeah, I'll consider.
But I'm saying rehab in the sense that you don't get access to the drug because you're in there, so it's forced rehab, or.
Yeah, that is where that drug is concerned. I think that prison is the best rehab that you get.
Really?
Because you get like this 20,000, 200,000 rand a month rehabs. That is more classy than a 5-star hotel. But at the end of the day, why do people always keep falling back is because, yeah, right enough, instead of you being treated as a recovering patient, you being treated as almost like a Hollywood celeb. I mean, I've been from your 20,000 rand a month rehabs up until your free government rehabs.
Mm-hmm.
But what do? Yeah, they keep you locked up indoors all day. Bible bash you, whatever.
It's across the board, whether it's government or the 20,000, it's the same thing.
Same thing.
Right.
And when you have aches and pains and the cravings, they just overdose you with a whole lot of tablets and pills and that. But what do the people do with the pills that is supposed to prevent the craving? What do they do with it now? They end up smoking the pills.
Wow.
In prison, there is no drug like that. There's no tablets or pills for your craving. There is just a thing of dis hier maar sê
What's your ma's house?
this is not your mother's house.
Right.
Whatever craving you got, you better deal with it as fast as possible, otherwise, yeah, it will be dealt with for you.
What does that mean?
Is maar kick the craving out of you. Because heroin is something, it's a drug that, like all drugs are mind alternating substances.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference between heroin and other Schedule 6 drugs is that, like tuk and mandrax, and the craving and the urge is all in the mind, whereas knowing that your mind is your strongest weapon, if you put your mind to something and you steadfast in that, who and what can. So if you craving for tuk or mandrax, but you tell yourself in your mind that you block it out, and it's easy to overcome that craving and that urge. However, heroin is a drug that attacks the physical body.
Okay. Okay.
Like your joints, your inside your organs, your.
How do you feel? Like what like describe the feeling to me when you're going through that episode. Those withdrawal symptoms.
It's almost like a mixture of a serious hangover mixed with the feeling of being hit by a train.
Yes.
Mixed with a little bit of serious, you're just messed up.
You can't function. Your head is just.
You're throwing up. You're sick. I mean, you won't have enough energy in your body to get up from here and walk to the door. Every movement, that's the part.
Because it attacks your joints and your insides. And so if you're like that, and with my very little bit of knowledge of the prisons and how, as you said earlier on, if you don't deal with that, they kick it out of you. How then do you deal with feeling that way and with those aches and pains? Because you have to get up and you have to go get your own plate of food, and you have to go wash yourself and all. So there's no one who can look after you. Or how does one remember you're a juvenile now? Hey, you're at that age, before you're 16.
You see, at the end of the day, in prison, the people that are in the prisons is human beings just like you and I. It's no monsters or heartless people, and that, yeah, there is people that has done some heartless things and that, but at the end of the day, when you coming in and you now got your room and that, there is people that, like, there was a first time for each and every person,
right,
in the prison. So therefore they bear in mind that once upon a time they also came in for the first time, so they know that you're coming from outside. So what's gonna happen now? You're gonna want to sleep a lot, because this is the time that the drugs is withdrawing and you're going through a detox state. And so with that, you won't feel yourself, or so. Yeah, then you have to like wash yourself and whatever, but sometimes if you unable to like go draw your own dish and that, there is one or two people that will do that for you. Because at the end of the day, it was done for them as well.
Right.
So it's not like what people make it out to be, in terms of like you say, yeah, people get raped and all of that. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, I'm not saying it does happen. Things happen in prison. Prison is a place that can make you or can break you. It depends on how strong this is. Because it's a place for nobody, but it's a place for everybody. But not for the faint-hearted. Because if you faint-hearted, you won't survive very long.
When did you, you've got a very early on experience of that life, but was there a moment where, maybe through experience, when you're still a juvenile, that you experienced, hang on, I need to toughen up here? Or were you ready from the outside, cooked and ready, toughened up, so when you went in, it was like, not necessarily at home because it was the first time going in, but just in terms of that, you're saying that you have to be a hard person to be able to survive in that space.
Yeah, basically, I think it's the same as any person that's been to prison. Your first time going to prison is the time that you actually, it's the make or break. Because that is where the time that you see firsthand, okay, right, so this is how things are done here. Forget what you've been told about prison, forget about what you heard or seen in movies. This is the real deal, because now you living that experience. So throughout all my years, even before my prison, living the rough lifestyle that I've been, I've always basically a code that I lived by myself, and that is to improvise, adapt and overcome.
Improvise, adapt and overcome.
Yeah, improvise in the sense of, okay, you find yourself in this situation. So, what is the next step? You need to adapt. Okay, this is not child's play. This is a school of hard knocks. So I need to adapt here. Otherwise, I'm going to get kicked to the curb. So, and overcome is when the day you release that you actually walk out of that place and it hasn't broke you. Because, like I said, I can make you or break you. People commit suicide on a daily basis because they can't handle it.
And would you say, because you said you've been in and out multiple times, and has that feeling changed over time? Every time you go in, you go out, you go back in. Is there a change, like, fuck, why am I back into this place? And then you go out, okay, fine, fantastic, I'm not going to go back in again. And then you're back in again, fuck, I'm back in again here. Does that sort of like ebb and flow? Or, I mean, how,
With
what goes?
everybody.
Right.
With everybody. Like, you go in, you do your time, and while you're busy doing your time, it's almost like you're motivating yourself. I'm going to get out here, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this differently, I'm going to do that differently. I'm going to cut that out, and I'm going to start doing this. And when you get out, sure, it takes like a snap of the fingers, and you look again and you're like, shit. Yeah, once again. Before it dawns on you that you are there, you're like, yo, how did I end up here again? Oh yeah, I did that. And every time you go in, you can't, like, you don't go in the same as what you went in the last time. Every time you go in, you harden yourself a little bit more, you toughen yourself a little bit more, and when you come out, people that used to know you as this is a gentle giant and whatever, you're coming out of like 10 years, and people's like, sure, don't know this guy anymore.
Is that how life treats you outside once you've spent that amount of time inside?
it's just that you can't really be the person that you are outside, inside. Outside, you cool, calm, and collective, and passive. Inside, there, like I said, it's not for the faint-hearted. Where outside, you are very in touch with emotions. If you watch a romance movie, you end up crying.
Nice
all of
one.
that.
Are you one of those? Do you cry?
Sure. Do you know when last I shed a tear?
No.
Neither do I.
Even in romantic movies.
I think the last time that I actually cried genuine tears was, I think the last time that I saw my mom. And it was like, if I'm not mistaken, that going in for 6 years now.
6 years.
Could be mistaken.
And why was that the last time?
Because of my disobedience.
What happened?
Through the years of my drug abuse and that, stealing out of the house, stealing from my mother, my stepfather, and just doing everything that I'm not supposed to be doing. I was put out of the house. And all that my mother and my stepfather wanted from me was to go to rehab, get myself cleaned up, and prove to them that I've made a change and that I'm trying, but I know for some reason something so simple was just too hard for me. Because my mindset was just on doing my thing, my way, and yeah, and even like now, I don't, as much as I would, my heart longs to be with my family and that, I don't think that I will be able to live under one roof with him again, because for all these years that I've been out of the house and on my own, and just to fall back under mom's and dad's rules and regulations, and plus also I'm at the age where most people are working and got like their own separate entrance and their own pad, and moving out of mom's, out of the nest, and so I don't really see myself because quite personally, what I've noticed about myself, if I am to stay in like have like my own parent, that I'm a person that if I'm in love, I'm better off living by myself or so, but not like with a whole lot of other like guys in that. If it was like me, and if I had a partner at that point in time, yeah, me and my partner, that's alright, but more than that,
Okay. Currently, where are you staying?
I'm on the street, dude.
But I mean, going back to your parents, instead of staying out there, someone not in your shoes, in my shoes, would say, but hang on, going back to your parents just for a short while, just while you're sorting your life out, would be better than being out on the streets. I hear what you're saying. It's as if you're going backwards, going back to your parents, whereas people your age are progressing with their lives, etc., etc. Would it not be, while you're still trying to build yourself?
Yeah, that would be, I mean, the logical thing to do, but if I'm already struggling to come to terms with the hurt and pain that I caused him, and I'm not even staying with him, how much harder is it going to be for me to look at him every single day? And even though I know they forgave me long time already for everything that I did, but like I said, the forgiving of myself is what chases me away.
I've got a 10-year-old, and I guess I can only speak for myself, but I think that a lot of parents will probably think like me, but I think it doesn't matter what your child does. I think I don't say it doesn't matter what your child does, but I think that your mom would love to have you back. You raise your child so that you hope that they become the best intentions that you as a parent have. And I hear what you're saying, that you're the one who's actually pulling yourself down and not with your, But yeah, maybe whenever that time is ready.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying. I mean, you can, as a child, adult, you can do whatever, you can say whatever. A mother's love for the child is undying. It will never fade. It will never grow weary. And like I said, under the same roof, it could maybe work if like there was a bungalow in the yard, staying in the bungalow.
So at least you got your own private space and your own autonomy. I hear you.
On one premises, just because I mean my sisters are getting older as well,
How are they? How's your relationship with them?
I always used to tell myself that you can take anything from me, you can take my life if you want to, but there's 3 women in my life that if you take them, then I don't have any reason for living. And that's my sisters and my mother. And I mean, for me to say it, I feel almost hypocritical because I'm saying that I feel so strongly about him, but what actions what am I doing to show them? I mean, both my sisters are young adults already. Where was I all the years? From the grade 1 until I don't even know if they're still in school or not. Not that they dropped out, but I don't even know if they finished school already or what they're doing with their lives now. But where was I all the time? You know, you being the brother, the Buddha, when they get into their phase where they start seeing boys and the boys mess them around, you the brother that goes and checks a boy out and says, brother, you break my sister's heart, I'll break your neck. Where was I for that? Where was I when they just needed their brother?
But what's happening in your life, Cheslyn, at that time? I mean, I understand you mentioned that you're in and out of prison, but exactly what's happening in your life at this critical time?
I'm not sure I understand completely.
In the sense of, so we 16, you're in and out of juvenile when you're a youngster, and then after that, and then what's happening? I mean, I know, you mentioned that when your parents married and they had the two your sisters, right? But then you were rebellious, and in your teenage years you were rebellious, right? But then what happens after your teenage years? And that is when, if I'm in my head quickly doing the maths correctly, that is when your sisters now are also becoming teenagers. And at that period where you are saying you wanted to step in as a brother to say, hey, you know, because they're coming of age in terms of them now maturing and stuff, and you're not around at that stage. So I'm asking, so what's happening in your life then at that time that you're not around? Am I making sense?
Living in vanity.
What does that mean?
It's like living in my self-made prison. And yeah, all it really requires of me is to say enough is enough and walk out of the prison. But as soon as I walk out, I just find myself being thrown back in. As soon as I tell myself I'm done with the street life, I'm gonna live it on the straight and narrow, it's not even long, and then I just find myself, because I don't know, it's like almost like this saying, you can take the lion out of the jungle, but you can't take the jungle out of the lion. Because this is the life that I've been living for most of my life, so to say. It's not all that I know, but it's almost all that I know. Because I've been living this life so long, I know how to survive, I know how to get from point A to point B, I know you get normal life and you get the street life. Normal life is what, like, I don't know if I'm right in saying that, like the normal people live, getting up every morning, going to work, and time from work, come home, you make supper and whatever on a Sunday, and or go to church, and routine in that. And then the street life is just free flow, living from day to day.
Right.
And it's two complete different worlds. But it's a world that I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy. Because nothing is promised to you. You're not promised that when you wake up tomorrow morning you're gonna have something to eat, you're gonna have clothes to wear, you're gonna have a few rands in your pocket. You're not even promised the next 5 minutes. Because you can be fine and everything is alright now, and then in a matter of seconds your life gets taken. Like I said, I was running around like a chicken with no head, just trying to find something decent to wear. The shoes I have on my feet is not even my own shoes, because I don't have. Yeah, you do get good Samaritans that if you ask, like before I resort to any drastic measures, I will first ask and I make it known that, look, I'm not looking for a handout or something for free. I'm willing to work for it, even if it means cleaning your garden or washing your car, whatever. And yeah, there's good Samaritans, there is good people that even though they're struggling, they still try. And then you get those people that even though they have more than enough, they have so much they don't even know what to do with themselves anymore. They tell you point blank in your face, don't have. Bah! Door gets closed in your face. Before you can even finish your sentence, door gets slammed in your face, and then you just see the securities start pulling up.
Or the armed security guys, the ADT guys.
And then when you get answers like that, that is the time that you get that urge and it's gonna show this guy now. Think he's clever. And show him now thing that. And that's when anger clouds your judgment.
And have you been in those situations?
Yeah.
How did it turn out, if I may ask?
I think that most of the times I was lucky because housebreaking, I've been doing it now for 13 years. And up until today, I don't have one criminal case of housebreaking. I was never ever caught for housebreaking. But not tapping myself on the shoulder, it's because at the end of the day, it's wrong. Irrespective of how that person made me feel at that point in time, that pushed me to that point where I said, I'm gonna show you a thing. At the end of the day, two rights don't make you wrong. Two wrongs don't make a right. Yeah, you can say it makes you even, but wrong is wrong. That person has every right to say no, because that person worked for what he has. I could have done the same.
If you were in his shoes?
If I just made different choices and decisions, I could have most probably been where he was, or even better off than what he was. But because of decisions and choices that I made, I am not in the position that he is in. So I can't want to hold it against him and catch a feeling if they say no. But at the end of the day, we're human.
So your breaking into these houses was out of anger and to show the person one up, not necessarily breaking in because you need the stuff to sell or whatever to make money, but it's more to show him that, okay, fine, you treated me like a moron, I'm going to treat you also similar. Is that what I'm trying to get, what you're saying?
No. Most of the times of me breaking in and that is because one gets tired of having nothing all day, every day, and watching everybody else living the same lifestyle as what you live in. Yeah, everybody has their way of hustling. So their hustle paid off, and now they got some moolah, and you sitting high and dry, you don't have a cent. So it's almost like you're not one of the cool kids anymore. And I've got a lot of pride also, where I don't like asking, Adam, bro, you don't have something to eat for me, or make my head right, or give me from what you have, or something like that. I like to have independent, have my own. So that's one of the main reasons. If you want your own, you gotta go get your own.
And you never went to prison for any of them?
No.
I'm scared.
The closest that I had was trespassing. But for all these years that I haven't been caught in it, it's my mother's prayers.
So what? Because you mentioned you've been to prison in and out. What were you going in and out for then?
That time that's all before I started with the house breaking, and in between the house breaking, like being caught with illegal firearms and ammunition, being caught with drugs, being caught doing everything that I wasn't supposed to be doing. Wrong place, wrong time.
And right now, as you're sitting here, how are you feeling? I mean, in terms of just... Because you mentioned that you'll get out, and then something will happen, and then you'll be like, I'm back here again. Right now, are you feeling good? Are you feeling what's... I mean, you mentioned earlier on the struggles that you're going through. How are you in terms of just,
If I'm gonna tell you that I'm cool in the pool and everything's hunky-dory, I'm gonna not just be lying to you, I'm gonna be lying to myself. And that is I think the biggest part of redundantness is when you start lying to yourself. A pure form of denial. What I can say is that I'm happy that I haven't been to prison for, I think this is my 3rd or 4th year that I haven't been
Fantastic.
in prison.
Good.
So I'm biting on my teeth every day just to keep it like that. And hoping and praying that opportunities comes my way instead of positive opportunities.
Sure.
And Good Samaritans. You know, people that's, even if they don't give you anything materialistic, even if it's a 5 minutes of the time just to hear what it is you have to say, it means a lot. Because that is something that is very scarce. People are so busy with their own thing, their own lives, and they don't even have 5 minutes just to hear someone else's. Even if it's not a complaint, just to hear what it is they have to say.
I believe we all need that. We are social beings, man. We're social beings. This is what gives us energy. I draw from your energy, you draw from my energy. And how do we do that? I believe is through this, through what we're doing. And I think that our current society is so much about me. You know, that we've lost sight of us. You know, it's about how do I look on Instagram. It's how must I look perfectly for Facebook. I must look perfectly for this. I must look this. They've got these effects now where you can be a supermodel look, and these effects and those type of things, all about me. You know, and I think that is where we are as people. We really, I believe we're losing the plot, because there's a lot of us who are yearning to talk to other people, to just have an open conversation, and let's just see where it goes, with no judgment. You know, that's what inspires me. That's what inspires me to do what I'm doing. So yeah, thank you for saying yes once again.
Thank you for not being selfish. Thank you for taking the time to lend the ear to complete total stranger, someone that you don't know from a bar soap. Because I mean, like you said, you've got a kid and you've got your own life, and I can just imagine life with kids, and that I don't have kids, but it's hectic, it's always busy, but still you take a part, you make time for those, for people you don't even know, people that like me, that sometimes we just long for someone just to listen. Whether it is that we're gonna complain, whether it is we're gonna sing a song, just someone to listen. And thank you for making people like myself feel human. Thank you for showing that there is people that care. And I know that I'm not really a religious type of person, but the man above, he sits high but he sees low. And I know that for what you were doing, just lending the ear, don't be surprised when your blessings starts overflowing.
Thank you. You're gonna make me cry. Thank you. Thanks, Cheslyn. Those are very kind words. Thank you.
And I mean it, man, because, like I said, finding someone just to lend the ear is more scarce than finding somebody that's going to give you a 200 rand out of the blue. Because that's what people do these days. Before you can say boo, bow, wait, let me just give this guy something, he can shut up and go on his way. But if you take that, something that they gave, and a ear that was listening, and you put it on a scale, whether it is 1,000, 2,000 that they gave, means absolutely nothing. But if they just had to lend just a minute all the time, just to hear what it is you have to say, I can not only just change somebody's life, you never know, might just save somebody's life. Because a lot of us lack that, somebody to listen to us, understand us, or at least try to understand us. Because like I said, the world that I'm from and the world that you're from is two different worlds. I can understand your world because once upon a time I came from that world. But how are you ever gonna at least try to imagine what my world is like if you're not going to? No. And yeah, all it takes is sometimes not even 5 minutes. Just a couple of minutes of your time. And just to listen. That's how you get to understand what my world is, how my world is. Because life is unpredictable. You can be high and mighty now. Tomorrow you're sitting with nothing. And then you find yourself, you had everything and just something happened, messy divorce or whatever the case may be. You look again, you're sitting with nothing, not even a roof over your head. Find yourself on the streets. raining 100%. Don't even have a blanket. Because it's arcing on the street. I used to lay on cardboard and I used to close me with cardboard. And then it's raining 100%. And if you just had to give 5 minutes of your time when you had everything, God forbid that it should come to such extent, but you end up finding yourself in my world. You will at least have some knowledge on how to go about and not be like others that wake up the next morning and find themselves in my world and they don't know left or right, and what do? They end up running in front of a bus. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, man. You know, I was thinking earlier on how these two worlds you talk about, when I asked you how was your day and that you had to, when you woke up this morning, you didn't have clothes for this discussion, and how you ran around. And up until literally a couple of minutes before we met up, and I was just thinking how my day started, you know, and I went to the gym, had a coffee, had a couple of meetings, drove around in my car, etc., etc. And I just had to, in my head, calibrate, you know, like, geez, bro, you know, it was just like a flashlight, you know, to say, fuck, we do live in completely different worlds, you know, but this is one of the ways where we can try and come across each other's worlds, if you haven't been to me and vice versa, or even come and meet each other halfway, you know. Hopefully we can come over to your side and I can come over and you can come over to my side and not do this halfway thing, you know. That would be ideal. But it was just an eye-opening moment where we take these things for granted, you know, when we have, and it just takes such conversations to make you realize how fortunate and privileged you are. You know, I am. Let me leave everyone else. I am, and own that. And yeah, no thanks, man. To come off topic a little bit, coming here we mentioned 3T. We gotta go back to that 3T. We gotta go back to that 3T. We gotta go back to that 3T because with this history and all this, I would like to know that chapter of your life and how that intertwined, and I mean, we don't have to, how that intertwined and how that went in and out. I thought that was quite an interesting story. Where that started. Let's rather go back. Where did that relationship start? And yeah.
Well, it's a small world, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, youngster is one of the people that
that's back there. Mm-hmm.
He could have made certain choices that could have put him where I find myself, but he chose to. He realized that he had a talent and he pursued it, and yeah, he's reaping
what he deserves.
Yeah, and I take my hat off to him because treaty things take time. It wasn't easy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, looking back from us before everything, before the fame and fortune, before the before everything, just a bunch of kids that was doing what kids do, and by that point in time, each of us knew we had a talent. Mine wasn't like in the same direction that his was. I had my own talents, he had his own talents. Each and every one of us, we had our own talents.
What were your talents at that time?
My talents, that point in time, I was quite good at soccer, and basically working with electronics, working with my hands. Like, I can build a computer up in front of you from just parts. I can, like, if you have a talent for fixing things as well, electronicals and that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That is my talent, and that's most probably one or two of the talents. I don't know what other talents.
You're right.
Nobody ever knows what and how much talents they have, because discover something new about ourselves every single day.
Mm-hmm. So what combined you in that group of these talented youngsters now? Excuse the pun, but you were all youngsters at the time, kids. So now, how did you plug into those group of kids, or did you guys just grow up in the same area? What was the link between all of you?
Yeah, besides us all come from the same area, and that I hope youngsters' mom doesn't hear this, but I think it was the weed smoking as well.
Has he said it in public that he smokes?
Not directly, but if you listen to his lyrics, you will find like directly, indirectly.
Smoke screen after smoke screen, then you get there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we were just a couple of kids that
just hanging out and just
out.
Yeah.
Doing our thing, and
right.
Yeah. And then you get the one that, like, a cool car drives past, and then you will make a rhyme about this car that just drove past. And then the next one will come with a better rhyme, and that's how things just started sort of kicked off.
Right. So it was like just rhyming and rhyming when you're sitting, doing whatever you think, you're just rhyming about whatever's around you.
Yeah, and then got older, and that's when everybody started making decisions as to, as you get older, decision making becomes more of a importance in your life instead of when you're young. You can make a decision split second and be okay with the outcome. And when you're older, you have to, before you make a decision, you're going to have to think what is going to be the repercussions, and we all started choosing paths in our lives. I, unfortunately, myself and two others of us, we chose a life of crime. And youngster, he could have gone that route, but he decided that, hold up, I got a talent, let me use this talent. And in time, see where it gets me. And yeah, I won't say it was easy because he has had many flops and bad publicity, and you know how it goes in the beginning, you're trying to find your feet in the music industry, especially in the music industry. Everybody wants a piece of that pie. So competition is tight. And to be able to grab a piece and stand out with a piece, that is basically what you're trying to accomplish. To stand out from the rest. And yeah, he still has a long way to go, but we is so far.
He's doing good.
It's much respect because, I mean, he's performing in Joburg and
it's all over the place.
Collaborating with
he's doing very well.
And
I mean, I don't listen to that music, but I've heard of him, and I mean, I've watched one or two YouTube videos of him, but I mean, I don't. But he's very popular amongst the youngsters.
The most important thing is that even though he has a little bit of fame, he has a little bit of fortune, he never forgot his roots.
Oh, that's fantastic.
If you go towards Videographer station, that road that takes you down to
that one,
that whole block there next to the road testing place, all their shops, YGen, that's his brand.
So he's putting money into the community where he comes from.
Besides the money, he doesn't forget about the community.
Right.
You will hear most of his songs that he's doing is about the community, about the struggle. Wherever he can help out, he helps out.
That's fantastic.
Whenever there's a charity event, gives free haircuts and that, and I mean, If you go to him on any other day by the barber, that one of the franchises that he has,
Okay.
you're looking to pay $150 for a normal cheese cup.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's still humble. Every Friday you'll catch him walking down to the mosque. There, wherever he can help out, and that, shoes, clothes.
Oh, that's fantastic to hear. That's fantastic
It's
because
just unfortunate we don't wear the same shoes. Otherwise, I would have been at the shop long time and say, "Yes, brother."
that's what happens for being tall. What's the shoe size, bruh?
I'm a 9.
9. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're gonna. No, I was saying that it's so heartwarming to hear that, you know, he's pouring back into the community, because I think that's in light of what we spoke about earlier on in terms of, you know, just I think what a lot of artists find, and I'm not just talking about musicians, just in terms of when you become popular, as much as everyone knows you, but it gets very lonely at the top, you know, because, you know, you might have been burnt. Now you can't trust people and all. So whereas the people that know you are, you know, you guys, you know him from way back, you know, and I think that's sometimes we tend to lose touch of that. It also happens with us. When I say us, when one gets a job, you know, you move out of Ekasi, you go and move into the suburbs. You know?
Out of the ghetto into the hills.
Exactly, you know. And then you work. And no, you know, I must move now from here. I see Constantia. Okay, let me now move to Constantia. Even more gated community, more high walls, more isolation, you know. And so when you're going through the problems, sometimes you might find your community that you find yourself in doesn't understand what you're going through. The only guys that can really understand you are, you know, back home. And yeah, it's
Now you know now, even though he's a lot in Joburg recording and that, him and his mother still stay in the same complex that they used to stay in before everything.
nice.
If you go down,
Cheslyn, I think let's officially wrap this up. It's really been an honor, Cheslyn, to be honest with you. Not that I've been dishonest, but thank you once again for just spending your time with me. I'm hoping it's not going to be the last time, you know. I really am hoping it's not going to be the last time. But I really just want to say thank you very much for your honesty, your vulnerability. It really means a lot to me. And yeah, thank you.
I think the things should actually go to you, because like I said, you could have been anywhere doing anything, spending time with your kid and that, but here you are spending time with somebody that you don't know from a bar, so listening to this story, and so thanks to you. And likewise, I hope this isn't the last, and keep doing the good work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Because I'm not the only person. There's countless people in my situation that needs more people like you, that is willing to take a few minutes out of their busy schedule to lend a ear where they can lend a hand. So, thank you.
Thanks, bro. Thank you. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Cheslyn. Appreciate that. Cut. But I really had to